Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy Boulanger, and up next on the GM, Ravens versus Chargers post-game reaction. Do me a quick favor as we get started. Hit like. If it is your first time checking out the GM, hit subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so that you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk about it. Ravens get a big time win last night on Sunday Night Football against the Los Angeles Chargers, an AFC foe. This win, I think, allowed us to see what we've seen all year long from the Ravens, a good to great defense. We saw an offense that kind of gets stuck in the mud sometimes. And we saw some questionable coaching decisions that could have gotten in the way of this win. We're going to start on the positive note. I'll break down some of that other stuff maybe in some other videos later on this week. But the Baltimore Ravens were dominant in the run game to the tune of almost 200 yards rushing on last night. A lot of contributors. Lamar Jackson contributed. Keaton Mitchell contributed. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, Zay Flowers, and Devin Duvernay had a couple of carries last night as well. So had a lot of contributors in the run game last night. And I think that we're going to need that same collective effort as we move forward. I thought that each guy who toted the ball last night brings something different. Lamar Jackson, as a runner, brings elusiveness and quickness and elite level playmaking. Gus Edwards brings power and authority, as we saw on the one play where he was trying to convert a fourth down and he got smashed into by Murray, and he was initially stopped but powered through and picked up the first down. Justice Hill offers two dynamics, some power and some speed, which we saw on display last night. Keaton Mitchell is absolutely blazing when it comes to his ability to outrun and outpace his defenders. Uh, Devin Duvernay has elite level speed, which we didn't get to see on display last night, but he still has it. And then Zay has elite level quickness. So we was able to see a lot of different things from our running backs, man. And I think it helped power this game and get this game home for the Baltimore Ravens. Another uh, thing that I appreciated about last night's game was a Isaiah Likely who looks like he could fill the shoes of Mark Andrews. And when I say that, I really mean that. I don't mean a collective effort between Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kolar. I mean, it looked last night like Isaiah Likely could fill Mark Andrews' shoes. Isaiah Likely looked fast. Isaiah Likely looked athletic, which we already knew about both those components. Isaiah Likely, in a couple of different aspects, looked uncoverable. When you saw Isaiah Likely on the screen, he looked as if he was moving faster than whoever was trying to defend him. I would have liked to seen them try and get him the ball a little more, because when he would get the ball, he would make some plays. Isaiah Likely really looked like he could fill Mark Andrews' shoes for sure. Another thing that I liked last night was, especially early in the game, was the Baltimore Ravens um, investing in the intermediate pass, that 10 to 15-yard area where they kept hitting Odell Beckham on slants. They hit Rashad Bateman on the slant. I think Nelson Aguilar was running the slant. I think when he caught that ball that he caught, Zay was getting involved as well. And so it looked like the offense was having a flow early, especially when they was getting involved in those intermediate passes. It really looked good last night offensively. So I was glad to see a lot of wide receivers get involved. Zay was involved. OBJ, Rashad, Nelson, all those guys were contributors last night in the passing game. I was also good to see some of the running backs get involved in the passing game as well. So I thought the effort that the offense put forth was very good. we'll talk about some of those other things that could cause setbacks in a little later. When we jump to the defense, the positives on defense, the front three, the interior three, Washington, Pierce, and Metabuke, they showed up big last night. Austin Eckler is a really good running back, and they kind of held him in check for the most part. I thought Jadeveon Clowney and Odafe and Kyle Van Noy, I thought they played big time games last night. They were making Justin Herbert uncomfortable in the pocket last night, and came up with some sacks. So it was really, really good to see. I thought Patrick Queen and Roquan played really good in coverage, and played really well against the run. So shout out to our front seven. All those guys played a solid game. Shout out to the secondary. Geno Stone made some plays, made a big time hit on Justin Herbert. Brandon Stevens was in good position most of the night for sure. Ronald Darby played well, and Marcus Williams even had a couple of appearances. But I think the defensive player of the game last night would have been Kyle Hamilton if I had to pick one. I mean, he was playing downhill, smash my football, and he really jumped off your screen last night, man. So it really seemed like the Ravens defense came into this game ready to do everything they needed to do to get this win. I think the fact that Keenan Allen was really the only wide receiver to really get going last night was good. I know that Quentin Johnson left the game, which was, I guess, beneficial for us. But Keenan Allen at one point was like 12 for 12 or 13 for 13 on targets. And so he was really the only thing they were going to last night. Justin Herbert got loose for a big time carry. You guys saw that 35-yard carry he had, which put them in scoring position, which made the game real close, made the game uneasy. And then, of course, the Baltimore Ravens offense put the game away with a running touchdown by Zay. And so holistically, man, I thought it was a great team effort. I thought that everybody played hard. Even when we made mistakes, I thought we made mistakes playing hard. I think we were disciplined for the most part, specifically defensively, but offensively, we still made some mistakes, still had penalties, calling back some plays. I think we were offsides a couple of different times, and so I think that it's a great time to have a bye week. Um, I think the bye week comes at a perfect time where we can send all the guys home. We don't have to game plan. We don't have to watch film. We can just relax, get treatment if you need it, go on vacation, whatever it is, because we don't have a game next week. And I think that's going to be beneficial. It's really, really a perfect time for us to have a bye week as we sit at 9-3 atops the AFC um, division or conference, excuse me. I think a couple of things that are still concerning for me, and I'm sure if you watched the game, there's no way you watched the game last night and they wasn't concerned for you. I think you saw the Baltimore Ravens uh, have a good start, have a fast start. Although we had a three and out, or we punted on the first drive, I think from that point we played solid in the first half, but we didn't put any real points on the board. I think we had 10 points going into the halftime, and then we only scored 3 points up until late in the fourth quarter when Zay had that long touchdown run, and that is concerning, right? This defense is full of talent, but it's not a top level defense. And for them to hold us to 13 points for most of the game is a concern, especially when we forced four turnovers, maybe five, but I know four turnovers. Two of those turnovers happened on their side of the field, which put us almost in immediate scoring position. And we didn't capitalize, not even with a field goal. We should have walked out of that first half no less than 16 points if we just capitalized on two field goal opportunities. And then we turn around and then we just kind of stay stuck in the mud the entire second half. And I think that is concerning. That's why I mentioned coaching. I specifically mentioned coach. I know players have to make the plays and that kind of thing, but some of the play calls and decisions are still happening that we saw earlier in the year. Like for example, there was two plays where we had clear first downs. The Lamar Jackson run, where he stretched the ball well over the first down marker, it wasn't challenged, and then we turn around and don't get the conversion on the fourth down, which we he went and then we hurried up and then didn't get the fourth down conversion, which is a coaching decision, right? It's a lack of being aware of where we are and what we should have been doing, which was challenging the play. And then I can't remember who was running the ball, but somebody else clearly got a first down, and we didn't challenge that either. But then the decision that we did challenge was a clear um, completed pass, or a clear legal play when Keenan Allen catches the ball and then throw it across the field to um, Eckler, right? That was clear just from not even replay, but just from watching the game live. It was clear that he was behind the pass point, which means it was a backwards pass and not a forwards pass. And so, for us not to be aware of that, so we challenged that play. It was a clear legal play, but we don't challenge through two plays that we had first downs, which would have continued drives. So that's what I mean by some coaching decisions that seem to still get in the way and be costly in some aspects. This was the kind of game, man, we should have been well ahead, and we probably should have been sitting our starters by the time uh, the 8 minute mark came around in this game, but we were still fighting tooth and nail to get a victory. Some of the offensive play calls were still questionable. We've been trying to throw those screen passes to Zay all year long, and they have not been um, productive, right? But we're still calling those same plays, and they're not going anywhere, right? We had a good effective play calling and good effective outcomes in the first half where we were throwing slants to Bateman and Odell and Zay, so on and so forth. But then in the second half, we don't hit Odell or Zay or Bateman for those slants. And you could even hear the guys on the telecast talking about those factors. So I don't know why we went away from certain things. I think we still are trying to use Keaton Mitchell as a traditional back, as we saw him opening the game with several carries in place of Gus Edwards, which I'm fine with that. But I think that you have to use Keaton Mitchell to hit the better of his strength, which is getting outside and following the pulling guards and things like that to get into the open field, tossing him the ball in the screen game. Um, but we still saw his ability when he did get to the edge and when he did make guys miss, so on and so forth. Um, so he still came out to be effective. But I think that we have to be more strategic when we're doing those plays. I think we have to stop trying to give Devin Duvernay the ball in the run game because that hasn't really been effective this year either. And then I thought that we didn't get Isaiah Likely the ball enough because, when the ball was going to him and he caught the ball, he was making some plays. So those are some things that I think that this bye week can definitely help. The coaches can get together and create game plan, strategies and things like that. I think it comes at a perfect time. Guys can get healed. Would love to see Marlon Humphrey be added back to this defense after the bye week, only if he's ready. Um, would love to see Ronnie Stanley develop some consistency in his blocking and things like that. You saw him, holding a couple of times last night and getting beat. And so I would love to see him take these next 2 weeks and just calm down, settle down, be healthy, and return to form. Because I think that's what we're going to need as we move forward into these last 5 games. Um, I think that we have to have a better strategy when we face big time pass rushers. When we face big time pass rushers, we've almost allowed them to wreck the game as a solo act. When we played against the Pittsburgh Steelers, we almost allowed TJ Watt to wreck the entire game. Now we lost that game, but we almost allowed him to wreck the entire game. When we played Cleveland, Miles Garrett almost wrecked the game by himself, because they were able to get home with just four. And then last night, Khalil Mack, man, was wreaking havoc on our offensive line. I know he's a stud, and I know he has like 12 or 13 sacks or whatever it is at this point. But I think that we have to create game plans and strategy to face big time pass rushers. Just like we get ready to play the Rams coming up in 2 weeks or something like that after the bye week. And you have to have a game plan for Aaron Donald, right? Because he can wreck a game. And so I think that those things have to be worked on, man. But proud of the win, man. I thought played hard, good effort. For the most part, I thought we were focused. And I think that this can be a carryover into the last 5 games of the season. So you guys let me know what you want me to know, man. Oh, by the way, I got some different content coming up, man, over the next 2 weeks, simply because we don't have a game to talk about. So I'm going to be doing some bye week awards and things like that. Just some conversational pieces, man. I'm gonna go through every division in the entire NFL, division by division, and talk about each division, man. So maybe you're not a fan of the Ravens, but you check out the GM or whatever to hear what we're going to talk about. By all means, comment. You know what I'm saying? Share the content, man. I appreciate you guys for doing that, man. So that series of conversations is going to be called 2023 and Beyond. So we're going to take a look at each team in every division and talk about where they are and what their future is going to look like. So it's going to be some conversation, man. So love to have you guys engage. So listen, I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and we're out.